Welcome to another episode of Crocheting with Dakota. Today I am going to show you how to crochet this particular granny hexagon. I'm calling this one Semi-Solid Granny Hexagon 2. You will see on my page another one that's called Semi-Solid Hexagon 1. Slightly different pattern than this. Please go check that out if you're interested. But for this one today, we will be using two colors of yarn. I am using a teal and a cream color, and it is worsted weight. So I am using my size 5mm or US H8 size hook. You will also need, of course, a darning needle to sew in the ends and a pair of scissors to cut off the yarn when you finish. So I'm going to start with the center here, of course, and to do the very center here I chain 4 and then I begin this part here. So let's get started. I'm going to set this just out of frame and move my needle so that doesn't get lost. And I always put my yarn balls in a bowl. That helps when it's rolling around. The yarn comes off easier, and also the yarn stays clean and the ball doesn't roll away. So set that to the side. To start, I create a slip knot, and I do this by putting the yarn over my pointer finger away from me, and then I bring it under the finger and I pinch between my middle finger and my thumb. Then I take the piece of yarn that's still connected to the ball and I wrap that over my finger as well and pinch in the same two fingers. And then I grab the yarn that's closest to my wrist and I pull it over and let go. And then I take my hook and I insert there and I pull tight. And I always like to have quite a bit of yarn, a bit loose, keep the tension even. Okay, and then I wrap the yarn around my fingers to have a good hold there. So I'm going to chain 4, so that's a yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through, that's 2, yarn over, pull 3, through 3, yarn over, pull through, that's number 4. And now I connect these two, this one here to this one here, by inserting my hook into the first loop. This is my cat Max, who has to come see what's going on, don't you? Like kisses? I'm filming though. Okay, so I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through both of these loops. Sometimes you have to pull through one and then pull through the other separately if your yarn gives you a bit of trouble. Okay, and now this particular pattern for this one here calls for 12 posts, and they're double crochets except for the first one that you start out with, which is a chain 3. Because a chain 3 equals 1 double crochet. But because there's only 12, there's a single chain between each double crochet. So my first one, I have to chain 4 to create that 3 for the double crochet and 1 for the center. I mean 1 for the center of the next 2. So chain 1 space. There we go. Sorry about my terminology here. Okay, so let's chain 1. Chain 2, chain 3, and chain 4. And now I'm going to double crochet into the very, very center. When you look at this and you pull it apart, you can see that there looks like to be like 3 holes there. One here, one there, and one here. It's this one here in the center that you want, because this one here is actually part of the chain, and so is this one here. So you want the actual center of the chains. When you put the chains together, they created a circle. So you want to go into that. So to double crochet, you yarn over, and then you insert your hook into the very center, yarn over, pull through that center. Let's try that again. Sometimes the yarn slips off the hook. So, okay, yarn over, insert, yarn over, there we go. Now you have 3 loops on your hook here, 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to pull through these 2 loops. There we go. And I'm going to yarn over again and pull through these 2 loops. And that is the double crochet. So now I'm going to chain 1 before I do my next double crochet. So yarn over, insert into the center, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 of the loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And that's my second double crochet. I'm going to chain 1 again, and I'm going to repeat that. And you will do this so you have 11 double crochets plus that beginning 3 chain for a total of 12 posts. So do that again. Double crochet, and a single chain before we do another double crochet. And single chain. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 posts. So that's halfway there. And when you go around, you are also going over the tail and working that in, or you can also leave that and use your needle at the end to work that in. And when you get to this point, you kind of have to start pushing these over to have enough room. So I am going to meet you when I'm at the last one. So remember, it's a double crochet, single chain, and you want a total of 11 of those plus your beginning chain 4. So when I'm on my last one, I'll meet you there. Okay, I have one more to do, so I am going to yarn over, insert my hook into the center, yarn over, pull that through, and now I have 3 loops, so I'm going to pull through 2 and pull through 2 more. And now I have 1 more chain. There we go. And now I have to connect these 2 together. So I count up 3 chains from my beginning chain 4. So it's 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to insert my tip of my hook into here. Sometimes this can be a little bit difficult. It requires you to pull the yarn about a little bit. And there we go. And you can do this 2 ways of just only using 1 loop, but I use 2 loops because I like that look better. So I have 2 loops on the hook now. So now I'm going to yarn over and pull through those, and now I'm going to pull through that loop as well. Okay, so that actually ends this middle round here. So our next round is this one here, which is 2 double crochets and then it's a chain 2, and then 2 double crochets and chain 2. And instead of going into the loops that are here, we're actually going into the chain space that we created with all those 1 chains. So we'll be putting our double crochets into here, these ones here. So I'm going to set that aside again and to get over here, because we're actually on the top of this here, we need to do a slip stitch. So I'm putting my hook into that chain space, go yarn over, pull my yarn through, and I'm going to pull through this loop here. And now I am in the chain space where I'm supposed to be to create our double crochets. But the first one is going to be a chain 3, so I'm going to chain 1, chain 2, and chain 3. Pulling some yarn loose. There we go. And now I'm going to do a double crochet into this same spot. There we go. And now to get over to this one, I chain 2. That's 1 and 2. And now I'm going to double crochet into here. And one more into that same space. And then it's chain 2 again. So 1 and 2. And now it is the next space over. It's another double crochet. There's 1 and 2. And we do that all the way around. So chain 1, chain 2 to get to our next spot here. And you'll do that for a total of 12 sets of 2. When I get to this last one here, I'll start recording again. So see you in a second. Okay. I have one more set of double crochets left to go, so let's do that. It's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet. Now I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and now I'm going to join this chain to the beginning chain. So I count up 3, 1, 2, 3. And I insert my hook into the loop here. This one's being difficult. There we go. Okay, and now I'm going to put it in another chain 2. Okay, and now to join these two together fully, I do a slip stitch through. And there we go. And now I have to get over to this space to do our next round. So that has to do slip stitches over. So I find the space here. Hello, Maxwell. And one more. Okay. And now I'm where I'm supposed to be. So, for the third round, I am going to do 3 double crochets in each of these spaces. So it's going to be 12 sets of 3 double crochets. Now between them, I alternate between chaining 3 and chaining 2. The chain 3 spaces end up creating the corners for the next round, and the chain 2 spaces create the sides. So let's begin with that. So again, we start with a chain 3 to count as our first double crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. Pulling yarn loose. Okay. And now I am, sorry, I had that looped up before. Okay. I need to do 2 more double crochets. So there's 1 and 2. And now I'm going to chain 3. 1. That came undone. If that happens, just pull your yarn a bit to create space for your hook to go back in, and then pull it tight again. So, yarn over, pull through 1 and 2 and 3 chain, and now I'm doing 3 double crochets into this chain 2 space. So there's 1 and 2 and 3. And now I'm going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. And now 3 double crochets into this chain 2 space. It's 1 and 2 and 3. So now we chain 3 again, 1 and 2 and 3, and go into the next chain 2 space from the previous round, and do 3 double crochets again. That was 1, and this is number 2, and 3, and now we're chaining in 2 again, 1 and 2, and we're going to do 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 space here. My yarn caught what was it supposed to? There we go. Nope. Sometimes this yarn separates real easily and it catches part of it but not the whole thing, so I have to redo it. It doesn't slide as easily as it's supposed to. That's usually how I can tell. And there's 3. And now, of course, it's a chain 3. 1 and 2 and 3. So that pattern is continued all the way around, so where you do 3 double crochets into each of these spaces, and you alternate chaining 3 and chaining 2 all the way around, 3, 2, 3, 2, and so on. So when I get back over to here, do my last set of 3 double crochets into this last chain 2 space, I'll meet you there. Okay, I am on my last set of 3 double crochets, so let's do that. There's 1 and number 2. There we go. And number 3. And now I do a chain 2 to join these, 1 and 2, to create that space that goes there and continuing our pattern. So now I am going to actually connect this piece to this piece by inserting my hook into here and creating a slip stitch. And again, I always go to the third one, which is really easy on this one to find because it's the top one. So I'm tugging a little to loosen it up. So hopefully the hook goes in easier than the last time. There we go. And I'm going over to the other side here. And go in that one as well. Hey, that one went in easy. Okay, now I'm doing my slip stitch, so I yarn over and pull through all the loops on my hook. Sometimes I have to do it in 2 steps. Sometimes I have to use my finger to pull that over. Okay, now for our next round, I have to get all the way over to here from here. So I'm going to do slip stitches over. And I'm going to find this space here underneath these loops. That's 1 and 2. I have to do a total of 3 slip stitches to make it over. There's 2 and 3. Okay. Now I always chain 3 to begin. 1, 2, and 3. So for this round, let's bring this over. So we just finished our round 3, so that's 1, 2, and 3. So that was 1, 2, and 3. So now our last round, and with this color in particular, is this row here. So we'll be starting in our corner. And so what we have here is a set of 3 double crochets here, and then a corner, and then another set of 3 double crochets in this same space. Now for this corner we chain 1. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, and that'll be this corner here. And then to move on to here, we simply do our 3 double crochets into here. There is no chain space here. It is simply just going on to do another double crochet into here. And same thing here. We go from this double crochet directly to this double crochet into this corner. So only places we're actually chaining in this round are our actual corners into chain 1. So let's start that. Put my yarn back on my fingers, and so this chain 3 counts as a 1 double crochet. So we need to do 2 double crochets to begin our corner. It's 1 and 2. And now for our actual corner, we're only chaining 1. Let's chain 1, pulling these over a little bit. And now we're going to do 3 more double crochets in this direct same corner here. Okay, that's 1 and 2 and 3. Now we're moving on to the side, and this was the chain 2 space that we created when we were doing our last round. So I'm going directly into a double crochet into this space here. As you saw, there was no chaining. Pulling yarn loose there. And we have to do 3 double crochets into the same space. So it's 2, and there is number 3. And now I directly go into this corner space with a double crochet. No chaining. 1 and 2 and 3. Now we chain to create our corner. And we're chaining 1. And now we're going to do 3 more double crochets to finish out this corner. That's 1 and 2 and 3. So that is side 1. So we're going directly into this chain 2 space here with 3 double crochets in a row in the same space. It's 1, and this is 2, and this is number 3. Now we're going to do this corner directly into there with a double crochet. It's 1 and 2, pulling the yarn, and 1 more, and now I'm going to chain 1 to make the actual corner turn, and doing 3 more double crochets, 1 and 2 and 3. I'm going to pull this so I can pull my hook out and show you. I'll just push this flat so you can actually see. So this is where we started this round. This is side 1 and this is side 2. So you can see that where it was a circle before, now it's turning into our hexagon with that one round. So I'm going to continue that. So it's going to be a chain, no chain here, sorry, into the chain space, that's what I was trying to say. with the previous round, we'll do 3 double crochets, and then 3 double crochets into this chain 3 space, 1 chain for the corner, and then 3 more double crochets in the same space to finish out this side. And we do that all the way around, so when I get back over to here, I will start. I'll meet you there. Okay, now I have my last side to do, and I wanted to show you how to put your hook back on when you pull out like that. It's real simple, just stick your hook back in, and then pull tight. It's no big deal. Okay, my finger wrapped around my yarn again. So this last side, it's directly into there, no chaining. I do 3 double crochets, so that's 1, this is number 2, and this is number 3. And now we connect these two with a slip stitch. So I find that top one here, and I stick my needle, my hook, into there. And now I'm finding the other part, which is right there. There we go. And I'm going to do another slip stitch to join these, as I joined my other rounds. There we go. And that is the end of this color. So to tie it off, I yarn over, pull through that loop that was created with the slip knot and the slip stitch. And I cut off about how far my finger will pull the yarn out, or it's about 1.5 to 2 inches. And I snip, so that's the end of that color. And then I pull the yarn through, and I pull tight. Now to make it more secure, I flip it over to the back side, and I find a stitch to the side, and I slip my hook underneath. Just one piece of yarn there. And I yarn over and pull through, and then I yarn over and pull through again. And this is why I make the yarn quite long. Don't need that much to actually weave it in, but to actually do that yarning over and pulling through like that, you need a bit of bigger, longer piece to do that. So I take the tail end from the very beginning and I pull that tight, and it closes that hole a little bit, and then I go ahead and I snip that off, and then I weave this tail end into here. So I get my needle and I go from the back side, and I weave the needle in first before I thread it with that piece. It's just easier for me, have more freedom of movement actually. And I like to slip under where there's lots of stitches. This one's been a bit difficult. There we go. Okay. There, and then I'm going to actually kind of weave through here to make it over to the corner, and weave my needle in there too. So it's actually under all that. So that's the back side, that's the front side. You can't see the needle here. So now I'm going to thread this bit of yarn into the needle head. And I always leave a loop there. It makes it easier for me to pull the needle through. Okay, and then I pinch here where the yarn originates from, and I just pull my needle loose. And then I pull this back, and I get this all straight, because this can pull this through, and this can actually dip down like that. So I like pulling it back up and getting it all nice and neat to where it's supposed to be. And then I take the little bit that's left over and I snip that off as well. So if this is all you wanted to do, you can. You don't have to do a second color. If you wanted to do this as a coaster, or if you simply wanted to put these together using the same color, that's fine. Or you can use a different color if you want to put them together. I use a different color, but in order to make kind of blend in better, I put an extra border on of the color that I'll actually use to join all my hexagons together. So I'm going to show you how to do that now with single crochet. So I get my second color yarn here and pull some loose, and I'm going to start with a slip knot on my needle hook. Put that through again, and I like to start in a corner, in the same corner as the side that I ended in. So I'm going to start here because this is where I ended, and I start with the corner space by putting the hook through there, and I'm going to put my yarn on my fingers, and this tail end I like having between the yarn and the hook and holding it on top of the work there, and I yarn over and pull through that hole, and then I yarn over and I'm going to pull through both of those loops. And now the yarn is firmly attached to the granny hexagon. And now I'm going to do single crochets into every single one of these stitches. So for a single crochet, you stick your hook into the piece of work first. You don't yarn over first. Yarn over only after you have your hook through, like I just did there. And I'm going to yarn over and pull through both of those. So let's do it again. Stick my hook into the little space there, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through that space. Now there's two loops on the hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through both. And I do that all the way across. And I'm working in the tail here, as you can see, as I go along. When it gets to be that little bit, I kind of pull it to the side so it's easier to trim. And I'm doing these single crochets all the way across until I get to the corner. Okay, this part where I joined makes it a bit difficult because there's really not a space there. So I'm going to use this big old space to do my single crochet, and then I find my next spot and I just continue on. Sometimes you can find a hole there, sometimes you can't. Depends on how the knot worked, tying off. Okay, now I'm into my corner, so I single crochet, and now I'm going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. Now I'm going to single crochet in that same space again, and now I'm going to find my next spot right there. Sometimes you have to pull this over a little bit in order to find that space in that corner, and I single crochet across again. I do this all the way around until I get to the point where I join the two pieces. So let's just keep going here, and I've got my bits that I cut off sticking to the white yarn. Okay. Once you do this for a while, you can go pretty quickly. Sometimes my hook gets caught on the yarn that's not supposed to, so I have to be careful with that. I'm at a corner again, so I'm chaining 2 to actually create that corner. It makes it easier when you are stitching your pieces together if all the hexagons have the same number of stitches on the last row. And that's actually why I changed 2 in this corner, because of the number of stitches were 2 less actually than would all be joining these 2 based on the original pattern that I was doing. So now that I've fixed that, it'll be the same number of stitches and it'll line up real easily. corners are easy places to add those extra stitches. And these here are actually my tripod legs. I don't have an extender to have the camera out further, but this seems to be working for now. So we're going all the way around really quickly here. Chain 1 and chain 2, same corner, single crochet. Some tips for when you are doing your crochet. When I begin with that beginning center round, this one here, I always double and triple count how many posts I made to make sure I have the right number. Because there's nothing worse than moving on and realizing that you have the wrong number when you're on your last stitch of the next round and having to redo it all. I've done that a few times, and it is quite upsetting, really frustrating when you have to pull it all apart, especially when you do a different color for that center round versus the next round that you're adding on to. And if you put too few posts, then sometimes if you have to snipped off your yarn, you don't have enough. So you either waste the yarn redoing it completely with a new piece, or you add a new little bit and have to have work in knots and stuff like that. So before I move on to the next round, whether it's the same color or not, I always double, triple check how many posts I have there. That's the right number for whatever pattern I'm using. So that I don't have to fix mistakes later. Okay, this is the last little bit here. So one more single crochet into the corner. Now I'm going to chain 2, like I did in my other corners. And now I'm going to connect this and this together by doing a slip stitch underneath here. Corners can be a bit tricky, navigating that little space there. It's always quite tight too. And I always go under the 2 loops of the corner. There we go. Slip stitch is pulling through all of them after you do a yarn over. There we go. And now I'm going to yarn over again and pull through this loop that's there on the hook. And I'm going to trim and pull through and pull tight. And again, I do another stitch extra secure. I don't want this to come apart in the washing machine. Tug on a little, it loosens up a little so that your hook can actually fit through. Maybe, maybe not. Let's try again. There we go. Okay, get a yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, and this time I'm pulling through all the way. I'm pushing down to get that knot close to the center there. And now I'm going to weave in this end. And stick my needle in first, like I did before. I'm just weaving underneath all these posts here. There we go. And I scrunch it up a bit so that it actually fits on the needle. And then I'm taking this and threading it. And always leave that little bit, push the needle through even more, and I grip here at the origin and pull the needle free, and I stretch this out a little, and now I'm going to trim off these little bits here. There's that one, and then these ones here. Yeah. You see those there, so I'm going to trim those. And now this hexagon is complete. As you can see here, same as that. And these will be sewn together later when I put them onto the blanket that these are for. Thanks for watching this episode of Crocheting with Dakota. We have finished the hexagon completely now, and if you want to see more of my crocheting, please see the rest of the videos on my channel. I do a different granny hexagon, and I show you how to join the hexagons together, not only with these here, like this, but also join them to a blanket. I have other videos on my channel for crocheting basic how-tos and joining together and another granny square. And also I have on there house sitting and my planner organizer that I have. So please go check those out. Leave comments, thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you would like, and thanks for watching. I hope you come see my next video when it goes up. Thanks for watching.